Hey guys, and welcome to episode 42 of the Entirely X Gaming Podcast. I'm your lead anchor, Mike Spindler. With me, we have our sports analyst, Ben Frampton.
It's a touchdown!
Our field reporter, Joe.
I watch more sports than Ben.
And our sexy weather girl, Tyler Spindler.
Hey, what's up?
And we also have a special guest, Pat.
How's it going, guys?
We got, what's your gamer tag for the peoples?
Lincoln Park 25 for the PlayStation.
Ooh.
Solid band option. Very, very much approved.
Well, Pat, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, our first segment is, what'd you waste your money on? So did you waste your money on anything good this week?
Myself, I spent it on Devil May Cry 5.
Very nice. Did you get the deluxe edition?
I got the collector straight from Capcom store.
Very nice. What do you think of it?
I like the collectors a lot. It came with a replica of the van from the game. The art book.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which, the art book is huge. It's actually larger than the actual game case, which I'm pretty excited about because I love art books.
Yeah, same here. Yep.
Okay.
And then it came with the deluxe edition of the game.
How much was it?
$150.
That's not bad.
No, not
That's
at all.
not bad.
How big is the van?
The van, I would say maybe, I want to say half a foot.
Wow. All right.
Okay.
It's not bad. Joe, what did you waste your money on, good sir?
Well, last Friday I got DOA 6. I don't know if I talked about it on last week's episode. I might have.
Nice.
I got the standard edition of Devil May Cry 5. I got it a day early and I rubbed it in Pat's face too.
Hard.
I'm getting the Division 2 Gold Edition tonight, and my Geek Made Design controller stand arrived.
Now, I would say that is not a waste of money, and everyone should go buy one of those.
Yeah.
Because that thing is beautiful.
It is.
You did tweet out a lovely picture with your Million controller and that stand. So that is very nice. I like that one.
Solid purchase.
Myself, I did buy Devil May Cry. The Division 2 Ultimate Steelbook Edition and the Sport Red Xbox One controller. Grab those. I'm sure we'll talk about the Division 2 next week.
Yes.
Ben, did you spend any money?
Now I'm kind of cruising off the stuff I've bought from the last few weeks. You know, I've got like quite a few games that are going to take a chunk of time to get through. So we'll get there. We'll talk about this later.
Oh yeah, we will. All right,
It's not
Tyler, did you pick
spoiler.
up anything else?
No, but I will be picking up something probably tonight or tomorrow. I'm going to get the new Galaxy Buds.
Oh,
Or pods. Whatever
I will
they're
be.
called.
We'll be interested next week to hear what you think about those.
Yeah, because I want them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into the topic of the show. And sticking with last week's theme of latest release, we're going to go with Devil May Cry, which is why Pat is here, because he is probably the biggest Devil May Cry fan I know, and Joe knows. So let's get in it.
Absolutely.
Now, Pat, how have you played all of the Devil May Cry games?
I've played all of them, including the reboot and the Godforsaken 2, absolutely.
Okay. Is this your favorite franchise, would you say?
Definitely. I've got a tattoo of Dante on my arm, so I would say that's
Okay.
definitely my favorite.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. We're going to keep this spoiler-free just for people out there as well.
Sounds good.
We won't give away any plot points. The game has 3 playable characters. You have Nero, Dante, and V. And I think each one of them is just perfectly balanced. They each play differently, but as you learn to master them, it's very fluid, and you feel like a badass, honestly. So, let's start with who do you think's the best character so far?
So definitely for me, it's always been Dante. His moveset really hasn't changed since 4. I mean, they added a bunch of other stuff and mechanics with some of the new weapons. But I would definitely say Dante top for me because I tend to get S's with him no problem.
Yep. I like V. I've had the most fun with him, I think. Nero, I don't know. I can't find that sweet spot of that grapple juggling mix that they're trying to do. It seems like. I don't know if you're probably better at it than me, but
I would think so.
he feels kind of slow in a weird way.
Understandably so. I mean, they try to mimic a little bit what he was like in Devil May Cry 4. I mean, I had a lot of time with that game, so being able to play as him, being able to grapple in, definitely, it was, I think, the biggest learning curve for me for Nero. Definitely had to be with each of the new Devil Bringers is they all have their own different types of abilities, and knowing when you need to break them, when you need to actually, go ahead and utilize just a standard, mechanic with it. V, obviously, he plays fluidly. I was actually a little skeptical with him at first because he's taken it back from the actual fighting. So I do like that.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it. I was like, why am I pressing X and V's not moving? And then I realized it's the bird that he has that's attacking. When you first get control of him, I'm like, oh, this makes sense. But I do like how you have to press, what is it, RB and B on the Xbox to go up and finish the demons.
Yeah.
It feels really cool.
Yeah, with PlayStation, you do that with R1 and Circle, and same thing. I thought that was a really cool mechanic that you can actually just kind of like dive into it. You don't even have to get up close because you can unlock that later on.
Yep. It makes you think a little smarter too, because it makes V, who is kind of sort of a fragile character. I won't get into why or anything like that, but it makes him push into the fight to finish off the demons. Otherwise, they'll just heal back up. The Jaguar is badass too.
Yeah, I like what they did with those characters because they're actually taking characters from the original Devil May Cry and kind of putting it in there. So they got Griffin, which is the bird. You've got Shadow, which is the Jaguar. And then, like, his big monster is called Nightmare, and they're based off of some of the main demons from the first game.
Okay. So I should clarify. I spent some time with 3, and I touched a little bit of 4, and that was about it. I only dabbled in 4. I did watch a lot of the rebooted one. What was that? Just DMC, right?
Yeah.
I think it was called. Yeah. I have more Let's Play style on that one, but the story didn't make sense at first, and then I would say past mission 10, 11, it starts turning up the heat, and you're kind of invested.
Yeah, I would agree on that because even Hideki Itsuno, the guy who created the director of Devil May Cry 5, he even said, like, we saw in trailers the first 10 missions, and after 11 is where really crank up everything. And I definitely believe it because, I mean, shit hits the fan once that happens. So unless you're, like, really vested into the series, the first half of it, you're just kind of, like, getting to know everybody. But other than that, it's just kind of like, once that 11 comes, that's when the story is really going to start filling you in from what happened to, previous games.
From what happened.
Yeah.
Now, how does this one kind of fit into the whole Devil May Cry universe? Where would you rank it?
So for me, I would definitely put it as my second favorite because my first is definitely going to be overall as 3 because I put a lot of time into that game.
How much time?
Part 3, I would say I played around 400 times all the way through. It was just one of those games that I would literally go to school, come home, and beat it every afternoon. It was just kind of like my ritual. So yeah, I really got into it.
Holy cow! All right.
Yeah, I wasn't kidding when I told you that that's all he plays.
Yeah, I got that.
Could I?
Go ahead, Joe. Yeah, go ahead.
How many times would you say you beat each game?
That's a good question. Well, as I said, around 400 for Devil May Cry 3. I would say about the same for 1 because they both, as I said, I went through like a 2-year span of every day. I would just beat the game every time I'd get home from school or on the weekend just to get better at it because that's the point of those games. Devil May Cry 2, I'd say around maybe 50 just because I didn't really care for the game. The reboot, I would say about 30, 40 times because I went as far as I could to platinum it, and then I kind of stopped from there. And then 4, I would say around the same, about 30 to 40 times. Definitely had a lot more spare time when I was younger when 1 and 3 came out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Now, you like the reboot, but a lot of people don't.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was a big thing when it came out. I had a lot of friends who were hating on it, and myself, I kept saying, no, I'm going to reserve judgment until the game after comes out because you can't really judge a book by its cover. So my biggest thing was like, okay, I'm looking, he's smoking, I'm like, what the hell is this shit? And I'm just kind of sitting there taking it all in, and then after watching the trailer a couple hundred times just because I really wanted to know how much I could about it, but I noticed things like he had white hair in certain parts of his hair, so that for me led me to believe like, okay, this is gonna be an origin story. And then when they relaunched the trailer at TGS, I don't remember what year it was, they really revamped everything, and I thought the game was fantastic. There's a lot of haters out there just because it's not the original Devil May Cry, and I get it, but they were never trying to replace it. They were trying to have 2 consecutive stories, one with one timeline, one with another.
Now, the reboot focuses on Nero?
No, the reboot focuses on Dante.
Or is it? It is Dante.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually...
It was 4 that was with Nero, right? Kind of as the main.
Yeah, so you play as Nero as the first half of the game in 4, and then they just kind of get really lazy towards the middle of it, and you play as Dante backwards and playing all the same bosses and stuff like that. I think that's the biggest jump they did with Devil May Cry 5, is everyone has their own levels, has their own bosses.
Yep.
It's not like you're going backwards in any level. That was the one thing I appreciated playing through from start to finish. I never felt like I was being repetitive like 4 was. I think that was the biggest downfall and kind of what held that game back.
That's kind of why I dropped 4 and only dabbled with it for, again, a handful of hours, was the repetitiveness. Like, going forward and then just coming back. I didn't like that at all. Plus, I was, younger when that one came out, so I just was lost in the weirdness of this story. Because if you jump into this game, it is a little weird. There's a couple, I'm not going to spoil again, but there's a couple weird moments. But they're great. Now, I've just lost my train of thought right there.
So I'll
Have
jump in
you-
then.
okay,
I got
I
one.
found it again, but it's okay. Go ahead.
Keep it in mind. So, having played so much of Devil May Cry, like, have you played any of the other games that are in the same sort of category of games and thought that they could, tempt you away? Or have you appreciated any of them that have come out and been like, this is a competitor but not quite as good, or not, your style? Is there anything that you've liked the look of?
Yeah, so in the hack and slash genre, I mean, I appreciate anybody who tries it. My biggest, for me is like, I loved Bayonetta because that's made by Hideki Kamiya, who did the first Devil May Cry. He was the director to that. So I really love Bayonetta 1 and 2, and I can't wait for 3. I think those games, they play very stylishly, just like Devil May Cry does. And then, games like God Hand. Not a lot of people played that game. That was kind of like a soft hit, like a sleeper hit for the PS2 days, and that one was pretty great too. That was made by the same team who did the first Devil May Cry. I think the only game I really had an issue with in that sort of genre that tried too hard was the God of War. The first 2 were amazing, and then 3 and Ascension after that were just really boring and just didn't really add anything to it. They took a lot of good from Devil May Cry, such as going from one room and emptying it, going to the next. I feel like they didn't really push you to become better, and I think that was my only gripe with that series. With Devil May Cry, it's just you get your rank and then you just want to get better each time, and you get to the point where it's just like you're racking up thousands and thousands of points and just getting S's and triple S's depending on the game that you're playing.
Yeah. So did you play? So like the ones that come to mind are like Castlevania: Lords of Shadow.
Oh yeah.
Did you play? Because I played that and I really enjoyed that game. I had a lot of fun playing through that. I'm obviously not even close to as good as you will be at those sort of things, but I just thought that game was really great fun.
Yeah, no.
In terms of the art and everything, especially.
I could definitely agree on that. Lords of Shadow. I love Castlevania. That's like one of my other favorite series out there. But I really liked what they were doing with it, bringing it into that whole 3D genre. The fact that you have Patrick Stewart narrating the whole game. Why not? So so it's like I could listen to that guy read a faux book. But with that specific game, I thought it was really well done. You know, it wasn't that kind of game that made you want to try harder, but putting it on the harder difficulties definitely, you know, felt like an achievement just trying to play through it, because there was definitely some hard bosses in that game.
Yeah.
You said God
Okay,
Hand?
Mike.
God Hand, yep.
What is that for?
PS2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just never heard of it.
Yeah, it's one of Hideki Kamiya's sleeper hits. There's a lot of jokes in it, like they make reference to Power Rangers, you know, different things in that. But I definitely recommend people checking it out. I think it's on PSN. I think you can download it on PlayStation 3. And then if you want to try to find a copy for PS2, you're looking at like $100 to $130 if you want to find it for PS2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Gross.
Do you have one?
I do have a copy. A friend of mine got it actually a few years back for me. He got it for Christmas. He actually got it brand new. I think Amazon was selling it for like $30. It had to have been like 5-6 years ago, but now even a used copy goes for like 120.
What a good friend.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, back to Devil May Cry. Did you play the, I'm going to air quote here, co-op at all?
Oh, for the new one? Yeah, the
Yeah.
co-op, I haven't played with any friends yet because obviously I'm way ahead of everybody in the game, so everyone's still
Yep.
early on. The co-op, it's interesting because it, you know, you could prioritize friends when you set it up, but I haven't seen how that's going to work. I don't know if it definitely prioritizes if you're both on the same level or not, but it's just kind of like
Yep.
you see them in the background, and then at the end of it, you just kind of rank them, and you know, I've been nice, and you want to rank them good, because if you rank the other people, they get I think gold orbs when they log in after they get like three thumbs up or something like that.
Yep. It's kind of cool. I don't know if that feature kind of needs to be there. It kind of felt weird when it first came up. I just thought it was an AI character next to me going down a separate path, kind of like a Gears of War style, you know? And then at the end of it, the screen pops up where it's like, rate this person, or rate their style. I'm like, okay, I didn't know that was a real person. But
Just type bitch in the box and send it.
no, I've rated everyone good. I don't know why you would rate someone bad, actually. I mean, you just have to be a troll at that point.
Yeah, you either just rate them yes or no, and it's like, all right, but at that point, it's like you're not really paying attention, and like for me,
Yeah.
it's like I'm not paying attention to them. I'm doing my own thing. When I first heard about it, I got excited because I thought, okay, they're going to do it like Devil May Cry 3. Devil May Cry 3 was actually multiplayer. Not a lot of people know that. You can actually plug in a second controller, use doppelganger style, and then that person could press start and they would control it. And then also towards the end, spoiler alert, you know, we're like 10 years later, but or more than that. But
I think you're fine on
But
that.
yeah, at the end, when you fight with Virgil against Arkham, you could plug in a second player controller, and they could take advantage as Virgil. So a lot of people didn't realize that. It was kind of something me and my friends kind of figured it out, and we were like, oh, this is great. So that's how we would just play through it every day.
For the 400 time.
Yeah, right.
In this one, you can play with other people in some of the big boss fights online, which that would be pretty cool. I think having 3 people in one of the big boss fights, because those boss fights are badass. That they showed this one in the trailer, so it's not spoilers. That first big boss you come up to, I forgot its name. It was the thing with the teeth in its belly.
It was in chapter 2.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't remember
that-
the name of
that
him off
thing.
the top of my head, but
I
I
cannot
know what
remember
you're
his
talking
name.
about.
I was in awe of that fight. You're like in this church and then it breaks out and I'm like, oh shit, I can go outside and continue the fight out there, and then the background and the environment is just being destroyed as this creature's throwing shit at you. So the boss fights are definitely cool. This game is really, really pretty. And I don't think I was expecting it. I don't know why. Just in my head, I wasn't expecting Devil May Cry to be a pretty game.
Yeah, that was a big step that they took. Going from that whole Japanese art to more of like a westernized type of art and more photorealism. It was weird at first,
Yeah.
like seeing Dante's face. You're just kind of like, this is odd. Because even my wife, I mean, she listens to me rant about Devil May Cry all the time. She sees the video of Dante, and she's just like, oh, I don't know how I like him. And then like later on, she's like, it kind of grows on you. And I agree. After a while and playing through the game, you really get used to that whole, photorealism versus just the standard Japanese art style.
Yeah, but and coming from a perspective of not having him tattooed on my arm, I think he looks badass.
Definitely
in this one. He looks awesome. His fight style though, I can't quite master it, and I don't know what I'm missing. So do you have any tips with him specifically?
with Dante himself.
Yeah.
So with him, it's kind of like depending on what you're doing. So for me, I focus a lot on Swordmaster because he's got a lot of extra maneuvers with his his devil arms when it comes to his swords and stuff like that. So I do enjoy using that specifically. That, or depending on how difficult the boss fight can. One thing I was reading about is I guess Royal Guard is really broken in this one, so that's more for like if you're going against later bosses. Some Royal Guard could actually block some of their heavier hits, which a lot of people are actually complaining, saying they should probably nerf that just because it's kind of like you can kind of cheese that. And I would usually say probably switching between Swordmaster and Gunslinger. Those are the two that I primarily use because it just gives you more maneuvers when it comes to your swords and your guns, just across the board.
Yeah, the Swordmaster is the one where if you hit B, he kind of does like a dash attack. Or not a attack, like just a dash in any direction.
That one, that dash would actually be Trickster. In regards to
that,
Swordmaster is more like you're doing a sword maneuver, or like if you're using the gauntlets, you're doing more like a punch maneuver with that.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna have to try it out because he was the only one I wasn't. I was getting like A's and maybe I would cross into an S, but with Nero and V, I was getting double S's, triple S's. V is very easy to get triple S's with, but Dante I was definitely struggling with. The thing that threw me off was the grading. As you're in the fight, and then you get hit, let's say you're at an A, it'll go straight down to like a C or a D, depending on how hard you got hit. And it just makes you feel like garbage when you get hit. It's like, I want to redo that.
Yeah.
Which is, go ahead.
Yeah, with it itself, it's like when you're in that whole like mode, and all of a sudden it's like you get hit out of it, you kind of take yourself back a little bit. And with Dante, it's easier to get hit. Because he's not covering as much ground as per se V or Nero with his Devilbringer. I feel like with Dante, you really gotta get used to using his Stinger because that'll get you across the map as quick as possible.
Okay. I'm definitely. I want to play this right now. just try this out. All right. Anything else on Devil May Cry? Anyone? Any other points? Tyler, you have not played it, right?
No, I have not. I dabbled in the... No, which one was it?
It would have been 3.
Yeah, I believe it was 3. I dabbled in that one, but I just didn't take with me, so...
Okay.
But, yeah, I am interested in playing it now, though, so we'll see.
Well, what about you, Ben?
I honestly, the last time I played a Devil May Cry may have been like 2 or 3, and it's been a long while. I'm sorry.
And Joe, we kind of didn't get to Joe's points on it.
No,
what do you think of it?
Yeah,
we could touch on it.
Right now, I mean, like, I've played like probably more AAA games this year than I have like the last 3 years combined.
That is awesome, by the way. That's awesome.
which is 4, but I don't know. Like, if I was telling Pat the other day when we were talking about it. Right now, it's probably my favorite game that's released this year.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, it's not really stacked up against very much because it is only March.
That is true.
But I am really enjoying it, and I actually kind of wanted to use that to lean into the next section. Is that okay?
Oh boy. I actually had one last point for Pat, or question. Should I go back and play the remake if I enjoyed 5?
I would say so. The remake is just an overall good story. I mean, they changed some stuff in it, but it's definitely well worth playing it through. It's a little bit more fleshed out. Unlike these, you have to kind of play them in all sorts of weird orders, like 3, 1, 2, 4, 5, versus just playing the remake.
Okay.
Can I go?
All right. Yeah, go ahead now.
Okay, so Mike, us as
Yes.
Xbox players, we don't experience this problem, but Pat, why don't you rant a little bit about censorship in the game?
Oh boy.
So that's definitely some bullshit in my opinion, because it's kind of like it's just Sony of America that's pulling this crap, and that's one of the things that bothered me the most. And I actually went online and I was pretty much like, you know what, they should probably make it to where Cyberpunk doesn't even come out on the PlayStation here in the US just to prove a point, because it's like they're censoring literally a butt crack, and I'm like, this is beyond me. I'm like, you can go around killing demons and blood all over you, but a butt crack is bad. I mean, it's not the fact that you can't see it, it's just the fact that for a fact they censored it. It's like, if they're doing something so small, what else are they going to look to do later on? I just don't want to end up like Germany when they used to have, pretty much if you had a zombie game and you shot a zombie, they wouldn't fall apart. They would just fall to the ground and disappear. No blood, no nothing. So it's kind of like, I don't want it to go that route, because I've always been the guy that it's like, violent video games don't make violent people. It's, as a parent, you have to make that decision. Is your kid ready for that game? That's just always been my
100%.
Yeah, that's always been my thing. Like, my dad bought me Devil May Cry when I was 11 years old. That's a rated M title. My dad decided, hey, he is mature enough to be able to play this because he understands right from wrong. If your kid can't do that, then they shouldn't be playing those games at the end of the day.
100% agree with you.
They have an age on
Pat
them
was
for
so
a reason.
mad too.
Also,
He was telling me about like GameStop, like Xbox One X trade-in or whatever, and making a statement, and he was going off the other day when I was talking to him.
Yeah, I was too vested into the PlayStation because they're doing that $300 trade.
So real quick, the censoring of the butt crack is where Dante picks up. It's Trish,
Yep.
right? There's another one in the RV where what's her name stands up, and there's like a lens flare over the butt.
Yep, and that was for Lady.
Jesus.
Yeah. I didn't have that, so.
Yeah, well, I got stuck with that because it's funny. I played it and I'm like, this something seems off. I'm like, this doesn't seem the same. And then I started reading articles that they did censor it, so I wasn't going crazy. I thought I was like losing my marbles for a minute, but when I saw that, I kind of just shook my head and I was like, I don't know what we're doing. The U.S. has always been very lenient. And it's like, if they're doing that now, I can't imagine if they try to release Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk's got full frontal nudity for both male and female. Are they going to cut that out completely? Because if that is, then I mean, at that point, CD Projekt Red needs to get out there and say, hey, we're not going to release it on your console if you're going to be this way. Because they've always been that company that is like, we want physical media. We want to make sure that our games are complete when we release them. I feel like they're going to be that company that's not going to want to back down from that.
Yeah, definitely.
They could have the hype to pull it off as well. They could have the hype to get people to rethink, where they stand on things because of wanting to play that game.
Right. If, let's say, they do censor it, would you switch on over? We'll welcome you.
So if they switch it, I'd probably get an Xbox just to play Cyberpunk because I love CD Projekt Red and The Witcher. I wouldn't get over to my PlayStation because for me, I have to play Devil May Cry on a PlayStation controller. I feel like it's sacrilegious not to do that because I played it on an Xbox controller and I'm terrible at it. And I don't know if it's because of the size of the controller, the way the layout is compared to the PlayStation, but I've tried it on the Xbox and I just cannot show off as much as I can on the PlayStation.
Pat.
Yep.
Just so you know, Cyberpunk is gonna play best on Xbox One X.
Yes, it will.
But it will play even better on PC.
Yep. But both of those platforms aren't censored. So.
That is true.
Let's see. Anything else about censorship you want to throw in there?
Nah, I'm good.
Pat?
I could start
Okay.
throwing stuff in, but I feel like we'd be
It's usually
recycling.
just countries, not like platforms.
Yeah, it's certain people. Yeah,
Like,
certain countries. Yeah.
Australia.
Yeah, like Soldier of Fortune Payback. I don't know if you guys have
I
played
remember that one. Yep.
Yeah, it has a completely separate achievement list on the 360 for the Australian version. Because online, you're just like dismembering. Like, you could shoot like arms off and shit. And then, like, in Australia, they're like, that's not okay.
Maybe
So,
don't do that.
we're just going to change the values of these and we're just going to pluck those out.
Yeah. I haven't beaten Devil May Cry 5 yet. So, Pat, where would you rate this one? Like, out of 10 or 100, whichever you feel comfortable with.
Because it's not totally the same thing.
Yeah, so for me, it's 10 out of 10. Obviously, it's just I feel like it plays really well. I don't have any hiccups playing the game. The combos are there. It's not like they cut anything out. It doesn't feel bare. So I would definitely do a 10 out of 10 for that game.
Very nice. How many hours do you have in?
Just my first playthrough, and I'm halfway through Son of Sparta right now. So I want to say, the first playthrough was like 6 hours. I want to say about 9 hours total right now.
Okay. Not bad. All right. Let's segue into the second part of the topic of the show. And that is talking about the Xbox Maverick that got leaked, which is a all-digital Xbox One S. I believe they call it Xbox One S All Digital Edition. This is a discless Xbox One S. First off, what does everyone think when I say that?
Gross.
I mean,
That's what I thought you were going to say.
I can talk about this quite
Go ahead.
in an interesting way, because as soon as I heard about this, I was like, isn't this exactly what they got slammed for at E3 when the next gen consoles got announced?
Sort of.
It is, dude. Like, they're on about
No,
having a digital platform.
they got more slammed in 2013 for being always online and requiring a 24-hour check-in. This one, like with the Xbox One now, you can still download your games and play it offline.
For all those games that you can play offline.
Well, yes. But you still can download the game and play it offline. This just doesn't have a disc drive in it. Tyler, what do you think?
I don't know. Part of me wants to say gross because of I like having physical games, but part of me is kind of okay with it. Like, it would be convenient to not have to, like, if I ever go somewhere, I don't have to pack up my games. It would just be all of my games are right there. So
yeah.
I mean, you could technically do that right now.
You can
Just say, I'm
but
saying
it's just
that.
like if I only have the physical copy of the game, then
You have to buy a digital one.
I would
at
have to
that
buy
point.
it again on digital.
I mean, you
so-
still have to do it if you buy this digital Xbox One, but
Yeah. Like that won't change at any point. And also, you're still the reason people aren't going all digital now in the first place is that if I go and look at pick me a game out of thin air, any game, name a game.
Battlefield 5.
Battlefield 5. I can get that game cheaper on Amazon than I can on any of the marketplaces. I can't get that. I can get that like at least 10, 15 pounds cheaper. I don't know, 20, 30 bucks cheaper.
Well, you could get it for real cheap and pay for EA access.
Different
then when it
argument
hits
to be
the
having.
vault-
Different.
Was it not?
No.
Are you sure?
Battlefield
Yes.
5? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it usually
pretty
takes
sure
like
it's
a
coming.
year. Unless it does
Alright.
really poorly.
But my point is that
Battlefield 5.
if
No,
it
hard
costs
line.
more to not own the disc, why would I do that?
For me, I think with it, instead of calling it the Maverick, they should definitely call it the Goose, because that's dead in the water for me. Because I honestly, for me, I'm a physical guy. Digital for me is just if I can't get it digitally, I'm gonna look out and get it, physically. Same thing with DMC4. That came out digitally in the States. I bought it from Japan because that was a physical copy. It's definitely trying to push the whole DRM market, and that's another reason why I can't get behind it. Because if they're looking to do this now, they're looking to see if they can get away with just doing digital only consoles. Because they talked about it when they first announced the Xbox One, making it to where you could only have it for one console, and they got slammed for that. And that's pretty much what they're doing, just without the disc. And they're trying to kind of underhand that and see if the consumer will take it.
Well, at the time in 2013 and 2019, digital didn't really have as big of a footprint as well.
That's true, but you don't own the game at the end of the day. Microsoft owns the game. If they make all digital only, and let's say they don't make a physical copy anymore, what are you going to do? If they release a game and it's going to be digital only and they don't make any physical, 30 years down the line, you want to play that game again, you're SOL if Microsoft goes under. Never say never. Look at Atari; they were gargantuans and they went under. Same thing with Sega; they became console. They don't do consoles anymore.
Yep. Now, Tyler made the point that rang to my mind was if I have to travel for work, again, carrying less discs with me, I'm definitely buying one of these, and it's sitting in a backpack for me for when I do travel.
Yeah.
It's just the form factor is going to be so tiny, and I can install the main games that I play, and I will play those wherever I go. Now, that is a very specific reason for owning this console.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, I don't want this. I want my discs. I want my collector's editions. I want my shelves full of video games. I don't want this digital future that we're going towards.
Yeah.
I feel like price is going to have to factor into it as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Surely that's going to be the biggest factor.
This console has to be below $200.
I feel like it's going to launch at $199.
I think that's the right price point to do it at.
I think if they are going to do this, $250 is the max. It can't be any higher than $250.
It's got to have a big hard drive if it's going to be $250.
At $250, they would take the Xbox One S, and they would drop that to $200. If it's not already at $200.
So then why have the digital one?
If it's going to be $250, it needs a 2 terabyte.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least.
I don't think it'll be $250 because you can get an Xbox One S right now at Walmart for $210 with a game on sale. So I think this will be maybe the $150. Well, the $149.99 price point, which is scary because you'll get, the mom walking into the store and see that price point, $150. That's pretty easy to just impulse buy, right? Whereas if you look at the X, that's $500 still. I think you can get it for $450.
I think it's $4 right now with the game.
Ooh. But someone walking into a Walmart, there's a $150 Xbox One, and it plays the games the same exact way as the other two.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna grab that.
Yeah, they're gonna grab the $150 one.
Yeah,
easily.
I could also see it being $300 with a year of Game Pass.
That's interesting.
That's interesting. Ooh.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, I think
I would almost bet that there would at least be a 1 month in all of these, just bundled in.
Yeah, I could just see it being with the year of Game Pass or whatever, and they launch it at $250 or $3, and then they're just it's plays over. How many games are in Game Pass now? 250.
250, I think, was the last number I saw.
Ready to play 250 plus games or whatever, and then they slap the Game Pass logo on it. I could see that being a realistic thing as well.
Yeah.
Where you don't even have to buy games.
Yeah. I think Microsoft wants to stay super aggressive here, so I don't think they'll go anywhere near that 250 price point. Right? They're behind PlayStation pretty hard this generation. How do you get back? You make a super cheap Xbox One S, and that'll sell. So I think it's going to be interesting. I'm also terrified, but this is a great business move by Microsoft.
The selling point for the S for me, originally, well, besides the fact that it like ran games better and stuff like that, was the 4K Blu-ray player in it.
Right. Which how much is a 4K Blu-ray player right now? $100, $150?
No.
You sure?
No, yeah.
Like a real one?
Yeah, like a real 4K Blu-ray player.
At the time when I bought the S, you could get one for about $250, I think, and the S was $300. I mean, it depends.
Yeah,
like, do you want one that plays
yeah.
one in true 4K, or do you want one that's gonna like upscale?
Well, right. So right on Amazon, there's ones for $130. There's a Sony one that does true 4K for $238. They're taking that cost out of the Xbox, right? Now, when you're manufacturing stuff, that hardware is obviously cheaper for them, and then they mark it up.
Yeah.
But it's still costing them like $75 to put that thing in there, maybe $100 depending on.
No. It's like in like the 20s or 30s.
All right, but their markup is still
There's
ridiculous.
There's no markup on consoles.
On a Blu-ray? Yeah.
Oh, for Sony, yeah.
Yeah.
Or Samsung.
So you're taking that out of the console, right? You don't have a disc drive in there.
Yeah,
You're
but
making
but you're
hardware
only saving
cheaper.
like $30.
Hey, $30 to some people is a lot of money,
Yeah.
right? I mean, PlayStation was $100 cheaper, right? And look how well it sold this generation.
Or on PlayStation 3, it was $100 more.
Exactly. So those small increments can make a big difference in these console, I guess, wars, if you want to. There's not a better word, I guess. So, like I said, someone walking into Walmart seeing a $150, $200 console, they're just going to buy it on the spot.
Oh yeah.
You can get
And
a
this
lot of
thing is
people who already own the PlayStation just giving it a try as well.
The people that go in there and buy a $150 console are probably going to buy a disc as well because they don't know what they're doing. If we're being honest.
That made me sad.
I have
Just thinking about that.
I have a story.
Oh,
well,
God.
I'll keep it short. It goes along with what Joe just said. Back when I worked at Walmart, a woman came in, bought an Xbox, and she's like,
Yep.
"Oh, I need a controller." And she went over to the case, and she pointed at the controller, and she was pointing at a PS4 controller. And I'm just like, no, the controllers are down here. So, yes, I could definitely see someone doing that, buying a disc at the same time as buying a discless console.
Not to mention,
I would.
in Walmart or whatever, I mean, like, those employees don't give a shit or whatever. They're
Oh,
like,
no, they don't.
they'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, you want to get any games with this? And they'll be like, oh, yeah, let me
Like-
get this.
Yeah, the only reason why I corrected her was because it was Xbox and PS4. Like, no. I didn't want to have to deal with that later on, so. But,
It's probably not a bad decision.
yeah.
Yeah, well, all right. So here, I buy, and Joe, you two probably buy a lot of digital games. If you look at it,
Digital only.
digital only. Yeah. How about you, Pat? Are you digital, physical?
I'm a physical guy myself. As I said, I'll go out of my way to try to find a physical copy if they make it.
Just that physical. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Tyler, you just have all my games. So.
I have all your games, and even if you buy a game, I still buy the game, and I'll always buy a physical copy. I mean,
I'm the same way.
me and
Yep.
you, we always want sealed copies of games.
Yeah.
Our local GameStop people have learned that. So,
Yeah,
it's physical.
I have doubles and if not triples of most of the games I own on Xbox One Just sealed copies, digital copies, and physical copies that I've opened.
It's a problem.
Just, I mean, you say that, but you got to support the medium in which you like. And there's a lot more people willing to support the digital future than there are to keep the physical present. So, I would rather pay out that.
I will buy a digital copy of a game that I already own if it's $5 or under, and it's something I want to play, and I don't want to get up to put the disc in.
Yep.
Jesus.
No,
That is my-
that is not okay.
That is my price
totally
point. It has to be $5 or under. I have to want to play it like pretty badly, and I have to want to not get up. So like I like a dumbass. I did it with Garden Warfare 2, which is Games with Gold this month.
Yep.
Brilliant.
But like I got some currency with it or whatever, which kind of goes a long way too in the
that's
game.
good.
Okay.
Also, the game's fun as shit, so you should
is.
definitely download that with Games with Gold.
Yeah, you should also play it because you know
I have.
Yeah, EA bad, you know.
Oh, don't. I don't. Not even gonna touch that one yet. I'm sure we'll talk about that in the future. EA. We have talked about them before.
We have.
I
I
like
think we
EA.
touched on them briefly.
I like EA too. It drives me insane. So, what is our stance on this Xbox One S all digital edition?
Make digital versions of games as cheap as the real world versions.
Yep, I agree.
I would happily get things online and buy them digitally if it wasn't going to cost me a third again the price.
Definitely agree.
And if you push towards digital only, they could actually price people out of games because they're determined to charge $70 or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, they could charge if it's digital only. They can charge whatever they want because they have the control, right?
Yeah.
They can. There's only one way to get it, and that's through them. So that price point is theirs, not a retailer. Any other thoughts on it?
No, I'm good.
No. Go ahead, Ty.
Knowing me, I would probably buy it just to say I have it.
I'm
So-
doing the same.
it's
I
a
say
bit
that.
of
I
a
talk all the
problem.
shit, but day one, guess what? I'm just gonna buy one.
But I mean, I'll buy one and then I'll just be like, "Oh yeah, hey, I'm going somewhere. All right, I'll bring my digital Xbox with me." And
Yeah, the emergency Xbox. That's all it's gonna be for me.
yep. So
Now, Pat, would this get you to come to Xbox?
Absolutely not.
God,
No digital for me. I've already told my friends if they go digital only for the future, I won't play any games. Even if they come out with Devil May Cry, that'll be my way to vote with my wallet.
There you go. All right. Well, let's move on to what everyone's been playing before we wrap up the show. And Pat, you're the guest, so I have a feeling I think I know what you've been playing. But anything else?
Just Hello Kitty Silent Adventure. No, I'm just kidding. Just Devil May Cry right now. I'm specifically waiting for Sekiro after this because that'll be my next big purchase.
The trailer dropped today, which is March 11th. That game looks awesome. I'm
Very excited.
Definitely.
Feudal
Yeah.
Japan, that's where we want to be.
Now, did you guys see the interview? I forgot his name, but he's from Software, talking about Battle Royale and games as a service games, where he said that they would like to take a crack at it.
Yeah, I did read that.
So
Any thoughts on that one?
Remind me what From Software did.
Dark Souls? They created a
All
genre?
right, yeah, okay, yeah. Well, created a genre is strong.
Nope. If you say a Souls game to any hardcore fan, they know exactly what you mean.
Right,
I
I'll
would
school you
justify
on
that
this
as-
next episode. Don't you worry.
Yeah, so what do you think about them potentially... He didn't say that they are or confirmed anything on there, but From Software creating a games as a service or battle royale game seems not in their arena.
Didn't they have PvP fighting in the later Dark Souls games? Like you had people dropping
Not
into your game.
PvP, PvE, but it was like kind of shared world where someone could come in and help you fight a boss.
I thought there was a way you could play where people would drop in and try and mess you up as well.
No. Not in Dark Souls 3. At least not that I saw.
Well, you can invade other people's games, I think.
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
I only
there's
had
pe-
people jump in and help me.
No, there's people I saw playing these games where like dudes would come in with like crazy armor and just literally fuck them up.
Oh, that's
I am so glad that did not happen to me in the 30 hours I played that game, because I already hated myself and how hard it was.
yeah.
To have someone else jump in and murder me, I definitely would not have touched it.
Yeah. So if you think about it, they've effectively already got the PvP mechanic and the combat mechanics from that. You know, they'd obviously change it to make it a bit more unique, but
Yeah.
it's almost threatening to be like the Dark Souls version of For Honor, I suppose.
Ugh. Ugh. Sorry, you said For Honor and I shivered.
No. So apart from the fact that kicking people over the edge was the most OP thing in the world in that game,
Mm-hmm.
like the concept of it was okay. It's just they hadn't balanced the multiplayer.
Oh, they still haven't, to clarify that.
Well, no, they're not gonna. They cashed in and they're just letting it cruise
Yeah,
now.
100%.
But the point is that if the Dark Souls guys did it, you would hope they would put the effort in to make it a fun and balanced combat situation.
Now, I could almost see them more as a games as a service than a battle royale. Right?
You mean like content coming over a period of time?
Yes. Like an Anthem or a Destiny style game. And maybe not even have it $60, maybe have it $30 and then have that incremental charge.
That's
every
probably
season.
that's probably the the idea that it would be the best for them to go games as a service, because they could release, another even harder boss level. They could release, they could.
Yeah, that's kind of where my mind went. Yeah.
Yeah, like the fact that people would be getting better over time at that game, and then they could just be like, I reference this game a lot, but it kind of defined a lot of the gaming world. So World of Warcraft, the raids in that, you'd have people finishing the first ones that were released, and then they'd release the next one, which you needed all the gear from the first one to be able to survive. Things like that, being able to incrementally.
Yeah, I could get behind more.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That'd be kind of fun. That would be fun.
Yeah. Well, anyway, back to Sekiro. When is that out? That's out
22nd.
later
22nd,
March.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
11 days.
Jesus, is it that close?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, I need to pre-order that.
Did you get the statue on that one?
Absolutely. That was a $90 collector's edition. Well worth it.
Yep. It's that was direct, was it, or like direct to Activision?
No, it's
or
GameStop
could you
only.
get it through GameStop?
Yeah, GameStop only.
Yep.
Japan has a
Yep.
way.
It also, if you pre-order it, you get the little letter opener thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. They actually had that display at my GameStop here, and I took a look at that.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm very excited for that one. Anything else you've been playing? Working on?
Just that right now. Just Devil May Cry. That's where my main focus is until Sekiro comes out.
Nice.
Beat that, and I'll go back to Devil May Cry for the next year.
Oh.
Good. Benny, what you been playing?
One achievement away from finishing Apex Legends. Could finish that either tonight or potentially Wednesday.
What if they add more tomorrow, allegedly?
Achievements?
Or by the tomorrow, I mean the 12th is the rumored date for the Battle Pass. And there is supposedly new legends in it, and
Right.
each legend had an achievement, which would lead me to believe that they will add in more achievements.
Well, how many are they adding? That's the question.
So far, one has been leaked, and his name is Octane.
So yeah, the flamethrower one.
Can I
Yeah, go
comment
ahead,
on
Joe.
this? So, if the battle pass is going to add achievements, and I have to buy every battle pass in order to complete this game, I'm canceling your challenge, and you're thinking,
No, you're the base 1,000. The base 1,000.
no,
as it applies.
I'm not gonna let that shit sit on my card while it racks up to like 4,500 gamer score because it's never gonna end.
Mike has to
Yeah.
buy you the battle pass.
I'll buy you the battle pass. It's only $10, man.
That's not that bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad at all.
I want to see how
Yeah.
long these seasons last.
Probably about 10 weeks, 10 to 15 weeks.
If I have to buy $10 every 10 weeks, I'm going to be severely disappointed in you.
I'll buy them for you. Don't worry about it. I got you covered. Is that all you've been playing though, Ben?
Pretty much. Like we recorded the last show quite close compared to what we
Yeah.
normally do. So it's been the focus because you know what I'm like when I get sunk into something
Get
and I
sucked
see
in one.
when I see the finish line in sight. You know, I got my Mirage win the other week. I got my 5,000 damage with all the characters literally 10
I've
minutes
never
before
heard
we
Ben
started
so
recording.
excited. By the way,
I-
getting that Mirage win.
Just that was a beautiful moment.
I mean, he's such a hard character to master, and you need a good support system around you.
It's
Um,
I think if you're playing with non-randos, if you've got some people you know who are semi-reliable, then you're pretty good. Like, you can get a lot further than you think you can. And I think that's the charm of the game, is that Fortnite now, you go into that, you're not winning without knowing exactly what you're doing and being good at building.
yeah, I would say Fortnite now requires at least like a 30-hour minimum bar to be decent at that game.
But then you compare that to Apex, and I've literally got a picture from one of the guys that I know where he won a game of Apex with no one in his squad getting any kills.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's next level,
Not
right?
only did they get no kills, they also had 0 damage.
I mean, it's amazing. It's hilarious.
That's
It should never have
incredible.
happened. But so basically, the other squad, the last squad, got killed by this circle.
It's hilarious.
Oh, that's funny.
That's Well, yeah, I've also been playing Apex Legends just a little bit. I think I'm 78 now, 79, something like that. I'm kind of hoping they reset levels with the battle pass, or like regen or whatever the hell it was called from Titanfall.
It
from
was
Titanfall 2.
Regens.
Yeah, kind of hope they do something like that, mix it up.
Uh-huh.
Devil May Cry 5, obviously. We talked that one. I've been working on Anthem, actually, and last episode was our Anthem episode. Yeah, the game's fun. You should definitely play it. They have already updated a bunch of things. Like launching a mission just straight away. You just go back, hold Y, launches the next mission. You don't have to run around Fort Tarsis and all of that. Just little things here and there. The loot fix, it feels good where it's at right now. I'm finally getting like those purple drops, and it feels rewarding. Whereas before, like we talked about, it was dropping whites and greens at that level, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice Easy 1000 came out, deployment, and still working on Creepy Road. That game sucks. I don't like it. Well, I guess we'll go with Tyler, because he's got some stuff.
No, go with Joe.
Go with Joe? All right,
Yeah.
Joe, what have you been working on?
I've been one a day in.
One a day in. There you
One
go.
a day in.
What are you at right now?
Hold on. 1,002,340.
And what's the day streak at?
Oh,
A number.
724.
Wow. Jeez.
Oof.
Nicely done.
We'll be at 5 years in June.
Very nice. That is awesome.
Jesus.
But
What have you?
I've been
yeah,
one
go
a
ahead.
day. I've been one a dang. I did Awesome P one day. I played Creepy Road for like 5 minutes.
Yep. It gets real bad.
Yeah, I don't doubt
What
it.
do you think of Awesome Pete, by the way?
It's like oddly like kind of challenging. I was not expecting that.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Neither was I. Everyone I saw was like, "Oh, it's an easy 1,000," and I'm like, "I suck at 2D platformers, so it's not."
No, it was just like everybody says it's like 20 to 30 minutes long, so I went
no,
in there all
no,
like,
it's not.
No,
Yeah,
I went in there
there's
all
no-
like la-di-da, this is gonna be super easy, and then it was just like, it's a little bit of difficulty, and then I beat the first level, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna come back to this.
yeah, not easy.
And then Devil May Cry 5 is my go-to right now. I'm probably gonna play that more when we're done.
Very nice. All right, Tyler.
Oh boy.
Boy, do you got a list.
I got a list. Let's see where to start. I'll start with I played some Fortnite. Just cause.
Gross.
Yeah. Nah, I like it.
Gross.
Crackdown 3. I am close to doing, or I'm on the final boss, and I decided to play it on the hardest difficulty. I don't actually know why I did this, but I did, and the final
There's no
boss.
difficulty achievement.
I know. I don't know why I did this. That's why I said I don't know why I did this.
Tyler has
so-
low-functioning autism.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Just make it hard for no reason.
Yep.
Keep going.
So I'm on that. Then I played, let's see, No Man's Skies. This is where it starts, where I start my list. I played No Man's Skies mostly because I wanted to, quote unquote, fix my gamer score.
You mean
and
make
just-
it a 0?
Yeah, just make it a 0 or a 5. So,
Yeah.
my only issue with that was that I kind of got sucked back into playing it.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I was sitting there and I was just like I fixed my gamer score, and then I just kind of kept playing. I was just like, this is fun. I'm just gonna keep
You
going.
gotta rip that cord. You just gotta pull out.
But no, I might actually complete that one.
Oh, then it's permanently fixed, right?
Yeah, but no, so far it is fixed. Then
Well.
I started playing Reagan Gorbachev again.
That's a fun
Nice.
game.
It is.
It is quite fun. That was one of the games that's on my list that was just kind of sitting there at like 2 achievements in the game, so I was just like, I gotta fix this. So,
Right.
then
Also,
Oh.
I have a good guide on TA for that one.
I'm
Wrote
not
a
gonna
little
use that.
text guide for it. There's a level glitch for it. So
For what?
for Reagan.
yeah. So,
I'll look that up now.
yeah, I'll
Yeah.
take a look at it, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I completed 3 games. Actually, sorry, 4, considering I was totally not playing one while we were recording silently. I completed Don't Sink while we were doing this. That was actually a okay game.
Yeah, it was.
I
Joe
mean-
actually recommended that one to me.
It,
Um,
I mean, it was
Wasn't
okay.
bad.
No.
yeah.
Then
I've
I
played
went.
worse.
Yes, I went and played Deployment like you, Mike.
Did you get the 1,000?
I did. Okay. That
That last achievement was tricky.
it was a little hard. I found it helpful if you when they capture the towers or systems or whatever the hell they call them. Immediately, as soon as you enter in an area, just start shooting it and get rid of it.
Yep.
So
Who did you use?
the Cyclops. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. I
So-
used Pyro with the second charge shot.
Oh, okay. No, I
Because if
Yeah.
you spam it, it does damage.
yeah. No, I just yeah. I used him. And then, let's see, after deployment, I did Energy Cycle Edge. That
Nice.
was like Energy Cycle, but a little harder
This one,
considering...
it took a little longer.
Yeah, considering you had to rotate the puzzle.
Yeah.
It was a little weird, but nah, it was... I sat there for maybe an hour. Just click, click,
Oh.
click, 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 click.
By longer, I mean it was the sub
Yeah.
40 minutes, 45 minutes.
And then the last one, which I could totally see myself just playing just for fun, was Daggerhood.
Yeah, as a like 2D, again, I suck at them.
Yeah.
But you
Oh.
can complete this game within like the first 10 levels, right?
12 levels.
12 levels.
Yes. No,
There's a shit ton after it though.
Oh yeah, like 12 levels, and then it was. I think there was a total of like 4 or 5 worlds,
Yeah.
and I was just like, oh, But
Yeah.
I stopped. I was just like, eh.
Yeah, so did I.
whatever.
Yeah. Well, that is one of your more impressive lists.
Yep, that
in
was
a long time.
That was me starting my challenge. Trying to get some more gamer score, and Reagan Gorbachev was me starting on completing some of the stuff on my list.
Getting that backlog.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, very nice.
Yeah.
I'll have to pass you in the leaderboard now.
I'm at 4,000 now.
Damn.
So.
Not bad.
Eh.
All right. Well, that's it for this episode, guys. Pat, thank you so much for coming
Yeah,
on.
thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Great to have you.
Where can the people find you?
So I'm on Facebook. I'm actually under Dante Tabano, and I'm on PlayStation under Linkin Park 25 for my gamer tag.
Very nice. And Benny, what's our Twitter?
It's at entirely_X.
Tyler, hit him with the Instagram.
Entirely X_podcast.
Go and facebook.com/entirelyxgaming. And don't forget those iTunes reviews, please. 5 stars only. Please. And that's it for this week. Catch you next time.
See you guys.
See you.